Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I'm your host, Alex Reevy, along with the tropical traveler herself, Sandy Reevy.
I wish I was in tropical area, although it is quite green and quite wet
Yes.
for the springtime.
So this is episode 353, the week of April 28th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we start off with Venus ingress Aries.
World love.
And May 2nd, Friday, Venus conjunct Neptune.
Intuitive action.
And Sunday, May 4th, Pluto stations retrograde.
Heading back round.
Then don't forget to sign up for our Patreon community. We also have an upcoming Talisman trunk show and the Tuscany, Italy retreat. Then in our house, Sandy and I are just returning from a funeral, and listen in as we discuss the amazing tribute. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river, wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story.
Hello, tropical traveler.
I think I know what you mean about that. It's a nursery, a garden nursery,
Called Tropical Foliage.
and incredible deals we get there that my mom has kind of this beautiful relationship with the owners. And they showed up, they were there today, so we got to see them. So
Yeah.
yeah, we started our summer
Springtime.
flower buying.
Mm-hmm.
2 loads in my car with the seats
It's a
down.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of flowers. So, all right. Well, yes, welcome in everybody. Episode 353, week of April 28th. So, shall we get into it?
Yeah, it's kind of a short week
Mm-hmm.
of aspects, but I think they're all important.
Right. And this is where after May 4th is when those planets that all the forward marching planets were now going to start shifting back into their forward and retrograde motions.
Well, the first one at least one
Mm-hmm.
of them is starting.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be only one planet retrograde as of Sunday, May 4th.
Mm-hmm. So let's jump into the transits. We'll start off with Wednesday, April 30th, Venus ingress Aries.
Right. So this is around noon on Wednesday, and I call this world love, and I really do believe it's possible. Um, Venus, the planet of love, art, beauty, things that are desirous, things that have quality, um, moves across the world point and moves into 0 degrees of Aries. So Venus moves off of my sun at 29 Pisces, boom, right into 0 Aries, right along that pathway. And so this is kind of, it goes from kumbaya, right, with Venus and Pisces,
Mm-hmm.
and in one next breath, it is spiritual feminine warrior, right? So it's
Right.
kind of like all hanging around the water and kumbaya in a circle of just all big emotional compassion and empathy and spiritual wisdom. And then boom, right into the what do you stand for? Right? Go
Mm.
ahead, pick up the sword, pick up the stick, pick up what you believe in. It's not to hit anybody. It's not to stab anyone at all. That's not what I mean by this. It's just, warrior energy is I stand for something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is this feminine Venusian moves into a place where she doesn't like to be. She
Hmm.
loves,
Well, it's a challenge, right?
you have it.
Right.
Yeah, but you have yours with Jupiter, so that's pretty decent. Um, and so, she has to be forward. She has to move. She doesn't hang back in a circle. She has to step outside the circle and move forward. And maybe she's the leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says,
Mm-hmm.
all right, let's start marching. Let's start going through, we might see some protests, right?
Yep.
Female, feminine protests about,
Instead of wielding a sword in your hand, you're wielding a little picket sign,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But let's just
Um,
hope it's, this crossing across this Aries point is has to do with the world. I wonder if we're going to lose people during this time, because anytime we can go across this pathway that has this celestial container that's just like a slide, right? It's just like whoosh. We'll have some beautiful souls coming in and possibly some beautiful souls leaving.
Mm-hmm.
We've just said goodbye to someone
Right.
that was kind of quite a surprise.
Correct. So let's move on to May 2nd, Friday, Venus conjunct Neptune.
So Neptune by now is at 0 degrees of Aries. Boom, we just talked about Wednesday. Venus moved into Aries. Now Venus has met up with Neptune. And this is intuitive action, right? It's like might not be sure on which compass point or arrow to move at, because it just got there, right? These two planets are just getting there. Although this is the third time that they have met up, but the first two times it was in Pisces. This third time is like, oh, right, we got to move forward. So it's like this having this knowing of what action you should take.
Mm-hmm.
What is the higher road? You have the energy to do it. Venus has just been retrograde. Mercury's just been retrograde. Mars has just been retrograde. These are the planets that are so personal and so close to us in that order, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and they're really ready to do their job, right? They're ready to do their communication skills effective. They've had their rest. They've had their RE, so they've had their rest. So intuitive action of kind of ready to move the chess piece that you've been looking at, deciding which way should you go, right? And so what I love about Dr. Sue Morter, she talks about a choice point. This is an intuitive choice point. Which way are you headed? Set your compass. You've had plenty of time to talk about it, plenty of time to ponder it, because Venus has been with Neptune in Pisces, and they're both rulers of Pisces. Now they're in a whole new game. They're on a whole new game board. They got to figure out the rules. Which way are they going? Who are their teammates?
Yeah, right.
What classification are you moving in? What do you believe in? That's what you should start moving on.
Right.
Yeah. Bring your best friend to your new spiritual church or your new Christian church, right?
Right.
Share. Yeah. Anyway,
I do like that. Intuitive action is, I feel like, a really great, it's that gut feeling, that visceral feeling of do it before you're ready.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
because it's so much, there's no Mercury here. There's no heady. There's no big decision. It's a feeling. It's an intuitive feeling. So take action because it's in Aries. Get going.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to Sunday, May 4th, and may the 4th be with all of you. Pluto stations retrograde.
Yeah, so this is, he's at 3 degrees of Aquarius. And this is around 10:30 in the morning on Sunday, kind of just as you're going, as I'll be going into my spiritual center. But it's heading back around. It stays in. It does not go back into Capricorn. We know that for a fact because we have welcomed him in last November into Aquarius for the 19 years. So he isn't going back. So he goes all the way back to 1 degree from the 3. But, this is tremendous drive to reform because it's RE, reform. What needs to be permanently, fixed or affixed. This is a pioneering break. All right, keep working on the same project. So kind of whatever is whatever is on the table. We talk a lot about, I was just talking about the magician card. It's like we have tools, right? They might be rusty. They might be, might need to be sharpened, but they're tools that you will always have.
Right.
So keep working on those sharpen them, get them more in tuned, whatever that is. If it's a guitar, if it's a musical instrument, if it's something needs kind of, I keep hearing the word affixed, affix. I don't know what that means for me right now, but I get this message. What needs a fix? He's here. He stays retrograde until October 13th. Although October 13th sounds so far away, but we're already talking about May. It's hard to
Right.
believe that we're all at the end of April right now, talking about May and talking about October already.
Yeah, it's only like 5 months away. Hmm.
So what is it that Pluto, and if you have any planets, right there at 1, 2, 3 Aquarius, or 1, 2, 3 degrees of Leo, or 1, 2, 3 of, any of the fixed signs, Taurus or Scorpio, Pluto is going to be making some hard, challenging aspects it's going to, I don't want to use the word twist your arm or force you, but really is making you pay attention to what needs to be changed, what needs
Hmm.
transformation. I mean, this, if you have anything, that means you've already had one pass, possibly three, up to three passes. You may want to hop on get an astrology reading, like
Yeah, absolutely.
somebody, because Pluto to a personal planet like the sun, the moon,
That's
or an angle,
a
it's the
big,
thing. It's the
big
thing.
atomic bomb type of shift right there.
Yeah, and it could fail you or it could boost you. So it's something that to work with, right? It's a handle carefully. Should have a
Right.
sign on it. But if you don't even know you're working with it, but knows it's working with you,
Mm,
you need to be aware. It's not a beware. It's a just get yourself aware to if you have any early degrees of those any fixed signs,
okay.
which again is Taurus, Leo, uh, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Those are
Well,
the
I
hardest.
will, yes, I'll include the link to get a reading with you, Sandy, and maybe how about this? I can throw in a $20 off coupon code if you use the code podcast.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Okay. So next up, we on the horizon, we have some things coming up. The most The two most important things are we have coming up is a free event. This is our Talisman Trunk Show. We do this about every year or so, where Sandy, we go up live, shows you talismans, explains her choice of color, the choice of time, why these are important, and who this could really benefit. So if you are interested in finding yourself a talisman, this trunk show is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And you can get a free raffle ticket, or with every raffle ticket that you purchase, you do get for the exact same amount that you spend, you get a gift certificate.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win. If you're already planning on having a talisman, then go ahead get some of those gift certif or raffle tickets slash gift certificates. They're the same thing. And yeah,
It really is because are you going to be chatting with people like you normally do?
yeah,
Because sometimes people say, I want to see number, 1789 or
right.
something, and I can,
And if you do
but I'll
have
show
You can also do that ahead of time. If you just email us, say, and give us a little bit of a list of the talismans that you're looking at, we can bring those and spotlight those directly for you during the show. Also, we do have our October Italy retreat that's coming up. We just said October is not that far away, so this is a really wonderful time to see the Tuscan hillsides, be
Ooh.
in a castle, be with a beautiful group of soulful, amazing women who are looking for the dolce far niente.
There will
That
be time just to sit and look over the hills.
yes.
Yes. With our glass of wine if you choose, or a bottle
Hmm.
of wine if you choose that.
And also, don't forget that we have our Neptune and Aries. That's our CWS webinar that we recorded with Susan. You heard her on the podcast last week when she and Sandy did a little interview about what that Neptune and Aries really means. So if you want to dig deeper, you get it complimentary when you sign up as a Big Dipper member for Patreon. So go ahead, click that link in the show notes. Join us over on Patreon where you can ask Sandy and Susan questions.
We just
Um,
got an influx of people signing up
right.
to get that, and the future webinars that we're doing with all these
Hmm.
planets moving into new signs. It's a anomaly.
Right.
Anomaly. Nee, anomaly.
Yes.
Yeah, how you like.
Um, all right. So that's all for the horizon. Let's move into our house. We are just returning from a funeral of a family member, and I don't know how to describe that. A previous family member of yours? Because
Well, I mean, a former
former.
brother-in-law.
Right, right. So that sounds more appropriate than what I said.
Yeah, it's somebody that when I was dating your dad, right, Alex,
Yeah,
he was dating Tim's sister,
right.
right? So we weren't like double dating or anything because who wants to double date with their sister, right? But we were kind of going to the house at the same time and going to the parties and stuff. And of course, we've not lost track of him and their children over the last 50 years, basically. And he passed
Yeah,
away suddenly from a heart
yeah,
attack in his front yard.
right.
And so we, yeah, knew I was going to go. Was invited to sit with the family, but that was beautiful. We had a drive to Nashville. Um, it was just stunning. But the the wife, I guess the widow, right? That's
Hmm.
your aunt, gave you a really interesting parting comment.
Well, I mean, I think throughout the whole process, it was a really tough time, but what was so wonderful to see is just how like foundational their family was and how foundational their faith and knowing was because it really kept them like so super strong. And when I did get to say my condolences to her, I remember being like, wow, I can't imagine just how heartbroken you are. And, I give you so much love and lean on the support of everyone here. And it's a beautiful family and it was a beautiful tribute. And she, like, it was like flipped on the switch. And she was just like nearly consoling me. And she was like, you know what? If I can give you a piece of advice, it would be talk about this day because this day is coming. Talk about this day with your loved ones, talk about this day with your partners, and get somewhat comfortable with it because she's like, that's what I did. And I knew if the tables were reversed, what he would be saying or how he would, be feeling. And so they they talked about it a lot. And although it was so unexpected, it really gave her so much strength to know that she believed that there was going to be an afterlife that she was going to join him in later. And it was really beautiful. The whole tribute, the whole
Yeah.
day. It was a beautiful sunny day in Nashville. Um, the I mean the church was bursting at the seams, and that is just a testament to how wonderful my Uncle Don was. And people flew in from all over, and yeah, it was a beautiful service, like beautiful eulogies.
Oh my gosh,
And
three sons. All
mm,
three of them got up and had something to say. Wow.
yeah,
Funny, and tearful.
Right. It was all of the above, and it just they spoke so highly of their father, and it really did. Like overall, as we were, exiting the church and walking away from the burial, it was like just this amazing sense of pride. So it was great, and it was a beautiful tribute, and I it couldn't have gone like that's strange to say, but it really couldn't have gone any better. Um,
Yeah.
when you're thinking about a funeral, right? Because it's a tough time for everyone. It's a tough time for family and friends, and there's so much confusion, but really the way that they sent their husband, father, grandfather, friend off was it was just so prideful and loving. So couldn't have
And
done it better.
again, one more time you saw the signing of the coffin.
Hmm. Yeah, that white coffin, and everyone got colored markers and wrote their message to their loved one.
Yeah, it was
So
beautiful.
it was a beautiful day, and yeah, we're gonna miss Uncle Don.
It's
So,
a very cheerful day. Anyway, like speak to people, right?
right, tell people like what you would want, or because we're all headed there one day, and I think it does give a little bit of solace during that day, that people can look back and be like, I know what my loved one would have wanted, or I know how they would have wanted this day to go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I don't want to really change the subject, but to stay on the subject, my mom talks about her, she's 93, and again, she talks about hers all the time. We know what cardstock we're going to use.
yeah. Wow.
Hold your hands out. I mean, we know what pictures. She's given us all the information. Of course, she's donating her body to the local school, but I mean, to the local medical school, and then we will get her ashes back months down the line. And she thought the other day when we were sitting here, and she's like, you know what? Dad and I bought a tandem mausoleum where you can put two coffins in. Like
Hmm.
we bought it back in the 80s, 1980s, right? When there was no, I didn't think there were any, cremation type scenarios going on back in the 80s. Um, so she said, I'm going to be put in a urn in there. There's going to be plenty of room in there. So
Bringing
she,
the whole family.
Randy, where you going? I'm like, I've got my jar also already picked out, and she goes, yeah, come in with us. So I literally called the cemetery today to find out, and he said, yeah, we do that. I'll call you back because there's gonna be a price because they have to put a headstone, head plaque
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
outside and stuff. But I thought that was just again brought on by, the advice is, hey, have knowledge around this. So it
Hmm.
isn't so shocking. It's again something that needs to be planned. So
Right.
have something in mind
Hmm.
so you can it's an automatic movement,
Right.
right?
And what was crazy and crazy fun, crazy fun fact about Don that maybe not a lot of people knew, is that he was a professional athlete, professional football player, but also an artist.
Yeah.
And his medium was like acrylic paints, and he would do these like beautiful, and maybe it was oil, I can't remember, but these beautiful, kind of like abstract, very colorful
Hmm.
canvases. And so one of the things that he wanted was everyone to be wearing bright, really bright colors. And it did, it shifts a little bit of the atmosphere, less about mourning and more about a like
Celebrating.
rejoicing, right? That he had just such a beautiful life. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of these
So,
NFL players showing up in their like blue suits, right? And he's like, somebody came in with a hot pink suit. or sport coat. It was just like, wow, what a, it was very colorful, very, very colorful.
All right. Well,
All right, yeah. And so it is.
sending Dawn off. Yes.
Yes.
And so yeah, not all funerals have to be terribly sad. But this one was a rejoicing. And so with that, thank you everybody for listening in, and we will see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one, you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river, wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you does